everyone. I know it's been a while since I last uploaded a video on this channel. I've actually recorded this particular video that I'm recording right now like at least 7 to 8 times at this point. I've been trying to record it for 4 to 5 months at least. Not sure why it's so hard. I guess it's just I no longer have the habit of making videos and hearing my own voice. So it's just difficult to get into the habit of that. So yeah, that's probably the reason why it's hard to make these videos. I stopped uploading on this channel like literally a year ago. Not sure exactly why I stopped, to be honest. Actually, I know exactly why I stopped. I'm so sorry, I'm bad at telling lies. The main reason why I stopped was because I moved back in with my mom around April of 2021, I believe, and I was staying with her till June of 2022. So that's for the main reasons why I stopped, which I now realize I haven't explained it well enough. The thing about moving back in with my mom is that she isn't, how am I supposed to put it? I am pretty sure she is a narcissist, that she has narcissistic personality disorder. Now, do I know that for sure? No, I don't. But I have seen a lot of behavior from her which resembles narcissistic personality disorder. I have suspected that my mom has NPD since I was 12 or 13 years old. That's when I first learned the term NPD, and I found it through the use of internet. The main reasons why I would search the stuff on the internet is because I would suffer from her narcissistic rage, where she would just scream at me a lot for no reason, even if the mistake, the quote-unquote mistake I made was really, really small. She would just yell and won't stop yelling until I break down and I start crying or I lash out in some way. And that's when I started to really search for this, like, oh, why is it that my mom exhibits these symptoms? Then afterwards she does say sorry, she does say, I won't ever do this again, but again she does it again. So I started researching this and I found the term NPD through the use of internet. I actually remember sending a YouTuber an email when I was like 12 or 13 years old about my mom and regarding her behavior. I recently found that email. It was weird reading that email again, because I now understand a lot more about NPD than my younger version did. But I could see, the amount of hurt and amount of pain that she was in. And to be honest, let's say, someone watching this video might be like, well, you don't really know whether she has NPD. It could very well be the case that she doesn't have NPD. Let's think about that for a second. Why would a 12 or 13-year-old research stuff about narcissism specifically and write emails to YouTubers about like how horrible their mom is being? I don't think that would happen, because I remember spending hours and hours on research about narcissism, and I don't think a normal kid in a normal functioning household would research things like that. So yeah, that's why I believe my mom has at least something going on, and that's why moving in with her was a bit tough, a bit hard. I was not in contact with my mom for approximately 2 years. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a no contact that I initiated. It was a no contact that she initiated, and I was trying to get in contact with her, but she would not let me. And I suspect the reason was because I started to do grey rock. I don't know if people here are familiar with this term, but it essentially means being a grey rock, not responding to things your abuser, or in this case a narcissist, may throw at you. This is something I noticed with my mom very early on, that she would get angry at me, she would yell at me, but the moment I lashed out in anger or I started crying, she would calm down. This is something I always noticed with her. So I learned this technique through the internet called gray rocking, where essentially you don't show any emotion, you don't cry, you don't do anything, you don't show any expression. And I remember the first time I did that with her, like her face, it was speechless. She could not grasp what was going on. She was expecting me to lash out and cry or get angry, but I did none of those. And I was just staring at her, blank face, and I remember it was she could not believe that I did that. Essentially, I believe narcissists do it because narcissists themselves can't regulate their own emotions, so they need other people to do it for them. Like, they'll lash out, they'll get angry, and the thing is, like, they don't want to be angry because, hey, being angry is generally considered bad. But when they see you get angry, it's like, oh, I'm not the bad person, you're the bad person. It's very childish mentality. So yeah, this is essentially the reason why I think my mom wanted to distance herself from me, because I started to realize things. I started to see through things which she was trying to hide desperately. She would lie about things, and then I'd catch her in her contradictions, and she didn't want me to catch her in her contradictions, but I would catch her in her contradictions, and specifically contradictions regarding behavior. Narcissists have this thing called the illusion. They want all the other people around them to believe that they're good people, because they themselves are not strong enough to believe that they are good people. They need other people to reflect that to them so that they can believe it themselves, because hey, if other people believe it, they can believe it too. But the thing is, I was not reflecting that anymore. She would try to project that, and I'd ask questions like, hey, yeah, you say you're a single mom working, but like, you're not even doing the bare minimum. You're not even going to the office. What are you talking about? Shit like that, So essentially, I stopped supporting the illusion for her, and I started gray rocking. So that's the main reason why I believe she wanted to create distance between me and her. Essentially, before we cut contact, we were living at, me and my mom, we were living at my grandparents' place, and she said that she was gonna go and she's gonna be back in a month or so. She was going on a business trip, and that's how essentially the no contact began, where I did not see her for approximately 2 years after that point. During those 2 years when we didn't have any contact, even though I wanted to have contact, I found out things that my mom had done, which I didn't think she was capable of, to be frank. And here we're talking about illegal stuff, like having driving licenses where her age is 32 years old, which doesn't make any fucking sense because I am her biological daughter. Does that make any sense to you guys? Like, okay, if I'm her biological daughter and she is 32 years old, then what exactly? She gave birth to me at the age of 10? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Also, another thing that she did was she found a man. He was essentially her fiance, and they were gonna get married, and he didn't know of my existence as her biological daughter, which is really fun actually. Contacting your mom's fiance and being like, hey, just so you know, here's my birth certificate, yeah, I am your fiance's biological daughter. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. It's really an experience to go through shit like that. It's some real fucked up shit. And to be honest, if somebody else told me, oh, their mom did shit like this, I would not believe them. I just would not believe them. Like, who would believe shit like that? Who would? It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. However, I have seen this with my own eyes. I have seen the shit that she has done. And yeah. So yeah, that is the thing that went down with my mom. Well, we weren't in contact for 2 years straight. The main reason why I was trying to get in contact with her was because she had some documents that I needed. We're talking about like really, really important documents along the lines of like, if you don't have those documents, you can't get a job, you can't do anything legally. We're talking like that important documents. And she had access to them, and she would refuse to give me back those documents. Yeah. So essentially, her fiance essentially was like, hey, come over, we'll sort this out. He was one of those types of people who always says shit like, blood is thicker than water, shit like that. I don't believe that, frankly. But he was one of those types of people. And he essentially convinced me over the course of 6 to 7 months to come over and just for the documents. And yeah, and I did get back those documents, thankfully. And then things happened between my mom and him, which essentially kind of forced us to get out of their house immediately. And at this point in time, you realize I am quite vulnerable because I haven't had time to search for a job. So I was jobless. I didn't have much money. So essentially, me and my mom decided to come back to my hometown and started living together. This happened in April of 2021. Yeah. By the way, guys, don't feel bad for the fiance guy. He's the second most hated person in my head. So yeah, don't feel bad about him. Okay. I don't want to go into what his deal was, but yeah. During the time we were living together, it was not good. I really didn't want to see her. It was essentially just because of necessity I was staying with her. And like, I always felt watched when I was living with her. I always felt like there was somebody keeping tabs on my door and checking when it's gonna open. I always kept my bedroom door locked and closed, and I always felt like she was keeping track of when I was awake and when I was asleep. During this period of time, I did have a job where I was working night shifts, and something I noticed immediately was when I got that job, her schedule started to shift as well. She was also awake during the nights. This was really fucking weird and really strange because it essentially meant that somebody was like keeping track of what you're doing and keeping a tab on you. It felt like I was in constant surveillance all the time. So what I would do is, I would just go out to get food, take a bath, or take a shit. That's pretty much it. But still, I always felt like I was in constant surveillance. This is something I've only noticed with her. Right now, I've lived with quite a few people. I know it's not been that long since I left my mom, but I have lived in other places and nobody keeps a track of what you're doing because everyone is busy with their own lives. Like for instance, my roommate, she has a job. She's gonna go out of the apartment at 9 a.m. I know it. It's consistent. I know it, just in case, if my routine changes, her routine of going to her job at 9 a.m. and coming back around like 6 will never change unless, she loses her job or changes jobs or something like that. But you get the idea, right? With her, even though she had quote unquote work and quote unquote a business to manage during daytime, she would be awake at night when I had night shifts, and that immediately changed when my job timing changed. Strange, really strange. Living with her again was the only way I could describe it is hell, because every time I'd see her, I didn't want to see her. I felt hatred towards her every time I'd see her, and I just didn't want to see her. Every time I'd see her, I think about, oh yeah, you tried to marry a guy and didn't even tell him that I was your daughter. Yeah, I remember that. And approximately like 7 or 8 months since I started living with her, an incident happened. I remember I was in bed and I was thinking about how much I hate that woman. It's really hard. It's really, really difficult once you've like accepted the things that have happened to you and the things that you've gone through, and she can no longer gaslight me anymore into thinking that, oh, it wasn't as bad as I'm making it out to be. No, it was as bad as I'm making it out. Since she could not do that, I would constantly be in a state of rage and hatred and anger. And I remember this voice very clearly in my head, which said, if you have any sense of self-worth or dignity left within you, you'd leave her. And I remember that very clearly. And since then, like, I started to, save up money little by little. I mean, I was saving money before as well. But it was difficult. It took me approximately a year or so to actually leave, because I was the only one who was really financially supporting. I was paying the rent for a 2-bed apartment, which for someone like me is not necessarily it's not practical for someone like me. And even though she had a quote-unquote business to manage, she wouldn't really work that much. It was always me paying the bills and everything. And actually it was really unsustainable, because towards the end of it, my mom was like, how about we just move into a 1-bed apartment, and then I could pay all the rent instead of 80% or so. Like, narcissist, man, narcissist. So yeah, it took me a while to save up a bit of money, because I was basically providing financially for both of us. So yeah, after saving up for approximately a year or so, in June, I rented a private room and I moved out. Now, the term move out seems very, I don't know how to describe it, like proper, like I told her, I'm moving out in a month, mom, and yeah, I'm gonna be gone. Okay, so you'll be on your own from next month on. It sounds like that, right? It wasn't that. I essentially left. I found a place, I paid the rent and shit, I took my bags and I left. I didn't even tell her that I was leaving. No, this is something that I wish I could have told her. So I had finalized the place in May of 2021, and for approximately a month or so I was debating whether I should tell her that I'm leaving. I asked certain friends, and some of them said that you should tell her, and then there were others who were like, no, you shouldn't tell her. So I wasn't really sure whether or not I should. Then 2 things happened. First, I talked to a family friend, and they accidentally revealed something that she told them, and I wasn't very happy about it. Essentially, my mom told them that I was sleeping with my mom's fiance all the time when I was living with them for approximately like 2 months or so. Which, how am I supposed to? This is just ridiculous. But at that time, when I heard that, like, from this is like a family friend, this is someone who I wish I had as my mom, someone I really respected, someone who had done a lot for their kid, and I wish I had a mom like her. And hearing that from her, it boiled me from the inside. It really did. Also, another thing happened was, this was the day I left. I rented the place from 8th June, right? But I didn't move in at 8th June because I wanted to. I really wanted to, but I just couldn't do it because I was really anxious and just paralyzed from anxiety and fear. And I remember I was in VC with a friend, and I asked him, whether I should go, what should I do? She had just left. This is my chance. Should I just grab my bags and go? And I was paralyzed. I was so fucking paralyzed. I could not leave. So I didn't leave. I believe on 10th or 11th of June, I believe that's when I left. In the morning of the day I left, I remember her banging on my bedroom door, because I always lock my bedroom door whenever I'm sleeping, because I didn't want her to come and wake me up, which is something that she would do even for things which were not necessary and could wait till the morning. But nope, she'd rather, wake me up and talk about shit which could wait till the morning and ruin my sleep and ruin my mood. Narcissists are like that. Always making your life a little tiny bit worse. Yeah. So I locked my door and she was banging on my door, and I opened it, and she was essentially asking for money, right? Who could have guessed? And I genuinely didn't have any money because I had paid the rent for the new place, and yeah, I just genuinely didn't have any cash with me. So she asked me to show my bank balance. That's essentially what she wanted me to do, show her my bank balance. And I said no. I'm not showing anyone my bank balance. Whether you believe me or not, I don't care. I'm not showing anyone my bank balance. And she kept on insisting that she wants to see my bank balance, and either that or she's not leaving my bedroom and she's not gonna let me sleep. And I stuck my ground. I'm not showing you my bank balance because I don't want to. I could have shown it to her and be done with it, but I just didn't want to, because I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to justify that, hey, I really don't have money in my bank account. Why are you living with me if you don't even trust me that much? Anyways, so I just didn't want to, and I stuck my ground. And she's like, fine, then you can go with your stuff. And I'm like, all right, then I'll leave. And I really started to pack my bags, and I really started to leave. And in the beginning, she was like, yeah, sure, leave. When she realized that I was actually being serious, she started to impose more and more conditions on me leaving. At first it was, oh, you can't take your personal laptop with you because that was a gift I gave you when you were 17 or something like that. I'm like, fine, whatever, here, take it. And then she was like, oh, you can't take your work laptop as well, which didn't make any sense, but I was like, sure, here, have it. I really just wanted to leave at that point. Like, really, I just wanted to leave. And she's like, if you're gonna leave alone. You're not taking anything with you, like including my clothes. She really said that. And this was just ridiculous. And I just started to take my bags, and I started to walk out the door. And when she realized that I was actually being serious and I was just gonna leave her, she panicked, and she's like, really, Jamie, you really don't have any money? And I'm like, yeah, I really don't. And she's like, okay, then fine, go to your room and sleep. And in the morning, when I knew she would be gone for work, by work I mean she'd be gone for like an hour or two, that's when I decided to take my bags and genuinely leave. And I imagine some of you guys may think like, oh, I calmly packed my bags and took everything, and I was thinking about the relationship I had, and I took a last look at the apartment we were staying, and then I closed the door and I left. I think this is what some of you guys may imagine, but that was not what happened. What happened was I took my bags. I had like 4 to 5 bags. I took all of them at the same time. In the building I was in, there was no elevator. I was on the 2nd floor. I took all my bags and I ran downstairs. That's what happened. And while I was running down the stairs, I lost grip of 2 bags which had my laptops in them, both of them, and they fucking fell down the stairs like this. And I genuinely thought that they were broken. Thankfully they were not. I looked at them, they were all right, but yeah, for a second I thought, OMG. Yeah, it's a but yeah, that's how I left. I didn't even close the door behind me. I was that anxious and that like scared that she was gonna come back again, and she's gonna stop me. So I just took my bags, I just left. That's how I did it. And yeah, that's how it happened. And now I've been living alone again for approximately 6 months or so. Life's been pretty good, not bad. There was a lot of shit that happened from the day I left till today, which I don't want to go into because that's a lot of stuff that happened. And there is a lot of stuff that will happen in the future as well, because like for instance, it's possible that I may have to switch jobs in the near future. and the new job will require me to relocate and to start going to office, which will be hell for me because I can't deal with people. That's the one good thing about this job, that it's work from home. But at the same time, I do realize that I can't always work from home. The things that are happening, I believe, are generally good. I'm a lot happier nowadays than I was living with her. I can't tell you guys how amazing it feels to not be living with her anymore. Like, for instance, like I've said, right, I was in constant state of anger when I was living with her. And to be honest, since I've left her, there's a lot of shit that has happened. But I can't remember even one instance of me being rageful at someone or because of something that happened. I can't imagine that. My mood has shifted a lot, and my mood's a lot better nowadays. And yeah, I'm really happy that I made the choices I made. So yeah, that's the main reason why I have been gone, and yeah, that's what's up with me. Regarding this channel, I really do want to get into the habit of making more videos. It will take time, obviously, and I don't know what topics I'll make videos on. Probably something sciencey related or something which grabs my interest. But yeah, I shall try to upload at least one video a week, ideally two, but you know, at this point even one video a week seems too much. But yeah, that's what's up. You guys now know where I've been, and yeah, I hope you guys have had a better year than me. Let me know what you guys have been up to and how have you guys been. I hope you guys haven't had as much of a tumultuous year as me. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.